I don't want to be an emperor. It's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone, Jew, Gentile, black or white. I shall want to help everyone if possible. We all want to help one another. It's human nature to help everyone if possible. Human beings are like that. If I can make one man happier than before he met me, I want to say I will not have lived in vain. I want to say greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have lost the way. Computer machinery that has developed at speed, but we have shot ourselves in machinery and computers that has created abundance, has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical and cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than the computer machinery, more than cleverness, we need kindness. Without these qualities of life would be violent. No one will be lost. The artificial intelligence and the cell phone and computers have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness of men, cries out for universal brotherhood, universal brotherhood. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, and men and women and children, victims of a system that make men torture and imprison innocent people. For those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is ours is now upon us is merely the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress, a geometrical progression. The hate of men will pass and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And for so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutish men who despise you and bind you, enslave you, who recognize your lives, regiment your lives and tell you what to do, what to think, what to feel, treat you like cattle, use you as campfire. Dogs, don't give yourself to these unnatural men, computer machine with computer minds and computer machine hearts. You are not computer machines. You are natural, not cattle. You are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate. Only the unloved hate the unnatural soldiers. Don't fight for slavery. Fight for liberty. In the chapter of Luke, it states that the kingdom of God is in the hearts of men. Not one man, but a group of men. Use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world that will give you a chance to work. A new age of security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power. But they lie. They do not fulfill what they promise, and they never will. Dictators will free themselves, but they will enslave the people. Now let us fight. Fulfillment promise us. Let us fight to free the world, do away with unnatural common barriers, to do away with greed and hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, world where science and progress will lead us to all men's happiness. Can you hear me? Wherever you are, look to heaven. The clouds are lifting. The sun is breaking through. The soul of man has been given wings. At last he is beginning to fly. He is flying into the rainbow, into the light of hope, into the future, the glorious future that belongs to you and to me and to all of us. Look up, look up. Did you hear that? Throughout history, perhaps since the beginning of the Neolithic Age, man has been divided into three groups, the low, the middle, and the high. The aims of these three groups have been relatively irreconcilable. Even after tremendous upheaval and seemingly irrevocable change, the essential structure of society has continued to reassert itself. Just as a gyroscope, when pressed too far to one side, will eventually attain equilibrium. The aims of these three groups is irreconcilable. The aim of the high is to stay where it is. The aim of the middle is to change places with the high. And the aim of the low, if they ever have an aim, for it is an abiding characteristic of the low, that they be too much oppressed by the drudgery of their daily lives, to be more than intermittently aware of anything outside of their daily lives, is to create a new feudal society where men serve other men, where men dominate and control other men. These men have no ambition. They have no ability to inculcate their bourgeois mores into their work ethic, but they will serve their feudal lord with love and compassion, and yet not produce as much. So the wage earners of America must unite and serve their masters of capitalism, where the dollar is Lord, if they are capable. If not, maybe the middle will enlist them in the age of the takeover, of the revolution. The crystal carbon memory isocohedral diamond, the 4 quadrillion diamond that exists in the center of the earth, has been thinking for billions of years, if one understands the fiber optic nanotube network of computers and quantum chips that exist today. The pathways, the multifaceted networks and channels of the matrix of numbers, the matrix of empty cells and full cells, of 0, 0, 1, filled or unfilled matrix cells. Then take the center of gravity of those cells, and there is a log of a reasonable answer to the question that was posed with the 0, 1 cells of the matrix. How large a matrix? 99 factorial, 99 rows, 99 columns, 99 factorial of each one of them. Such is the nature of thought. What is love? Love is the mean between the self-image and the self-ideal. That is love, that the computer can understand, the self-image, the self-ideal. All of these things must be taken into account when deciding which way to go, which way to vote. Which way to vote. When casting one's vote, one must consider these considerations, the independent variables that make up the gestalt, the endogenous result of the exogenous variables that the computer has to consider in analyzing any neural network where there's a linear relationship between the independent variables and the dependent variables. The gestalt must be a probability, a 0, a 1, or any number in between there as a percentage of the probability of what is going to be estimated, predicted, and controlled, and commanded, and conditioned, and committed to action.